So I keep seeing this stuff online. I really wasn't going to make a video on it or comment about it, but here we are. I don't feel any particular way about this. But they essentially, what this is they have a campaign out of Australia called Collective Shout. It's a bunch of women that are unhappy with their lives, and they got together and they are trying to wield government in a way that really affects the entire world, which is crazy because, you know, when the UK does it, and the UK market is big, right? But when the UK does something, they try to keep it to their place. But I guess now that Australia's involved, I don't know how many people could possibly be in Australia. I don't know why that would be such a big market. But they got a shitload of games de-indexed from that itch.io, which is a big indie platform. And I'm going to be honest, I actually like itch.io, but also I don't know how to say it. I think that's how you say it. That's what I've always called it. But, you know, that company has always been fantastic. The revenue share is fantastic. It allows indies a place to put their games out and service their fans. And they don't really ask for anything. They just want to be out there and put your stuff out. And boy, I'm shocked because itch.io was one of the companies that I would say would have never done this. But deleting 20,000 games is a big step in the wrong direction, I think. Because I know what people are saying, and I get the comments that are going to come from this because of the way I look. I don't play these games, but the reality is someone does. Okay? And somebody put the time and effort to put a game together, and somebody put time and effort into updating it and giving it to people, and people play it. So in my opinion, what fucking right do I have to tell someone that they're not allowed to play a certain type of game? Okay? And it's a dangerous slope because this means anything is fair game as long as these people say that it's wrong. Okay? And I get it. Right now, we're in a period where this could be, you know, genie back in the bottle situation where we pull back from it and we say, okay, well, this is not like the right way to go. But I don't think that that's what's going to happen. And I honestly think that, in my opinion, if you're an adult, you can do whatever you want. You're not hurting anybody. People putting out this stuff are not hurting anybody. And I get it. I get it. Some of the framing is going to be, well, look at you. You're a fat 30-year-old. Of course, you would want to stop them from taking porn games off a website. I promise I don't give a shit about the porn games. I don't know how to make that clear to anyone. But in my opinion, it's not going to stop there. And it never has. These groups have never just stopped with anything. And it started years ago with this whole campaign against how gaming is violent. And, you know, CDs are violent. You know, music is violence. It's they did it back when to show how old this is. Back when Elvis first came out, there was a ton of Christian groups that were very against Elvis because he moved his hips on stage. Okay, and to us that sounds ridiculous. But he had severe pushback. It wasn't like he just his rise to fame was not somewhat rocky, right? And regardless of his character, the point I'm trying to make is he went through that same process. And, certain stations wouldn't play him. Certain stations wouldn't have him perform. Or certain venues wouldn't have him perform. And that's the same that, I'm trying to think of even older examples, but that's the one that jumps out at me. But I guess my point here is that if this group of, what it says here is Collective Shout has 286 members. If 286 members can remove 20K games from the internet, I think Collective Shout is a bad thing. I think it's bad for everybody. Because, what do they consider inappropriate? And what will they consider inappropriate tomorrow? You have games like Stellar Blade, and name any anime game where the singular fan service isn't dedicated to that specific avenue of female attractiveness, you could say. Where do they stop? And even though I don't personally like playing those, is it my job to police other people and tell them what they're allowed to watch, what they're allowed to play, what they're allowed to do? I don't think it should be. And I think America, really, we don't really understand these kind of issues because we don't live in those countries. We live in a country where, very realistically, no one says you can't do a lot of stuff, okay? And in some countries, they're not allowed to watch certain things. They're not allowed to download certain games. They're not allowed to, in the UK, they have to turn gore off. If you don't have a gore setting, you cannot, put your game out in the UK, basically, if you have a lot of gore in it. It's just dude, imagine living in those countries where your internet provider, if they see that you go to certain websites, and it doesn't have to be anything like this, okay? It doesn't have to be something crazy. It could just be a wrong political view, okay? Especially with, China and stuff. But we're not going to get into that because that's a whole other thing. But you can see what I'm talking about. I don't think a group of women from Australia should be able to push their agenda on anyone. Because where does it stop, bro? Where does it stop? Where does it stop? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't they ban GTA? Why not? It's got everything they don't like, right? They're going to be one of these groups. Once they're given, we just went through this with the Sweet Baby shit. Sweet Baby was doing effectively the same thing, policing things. And did we like it? Was it a fantastic time? Did it make any games that we enjoyed? You know what I mean? And this will do the same thing. So I wasn't going to make a video about this because it's just not something like not in my wheelhouse. But it's like, you know what? Actually, fuck it. But I want to know what you guys think. Good, bad, hate it, love it. I reply to every comment. We also have a Reddit, Matt Kostick, over on Reddit. And I will see you in the next one.